So we'll go ahead and look at number 8. The only difference with number 8, the directions anyway, is that you're going to be revolving about the y-axis, which means we're going to be dealing in terms of y, or dy. It's going to be very similar to number 7, except that we're going around the y-axis. So when we're doing that, we actually want to solve this for x, so it's in terms of y. And if you watch number 7, you would, again, think this is very similar. So we would square both sides and get y squared equals 2 minus x, and then we would add x to both sides and subtract y squared from both sides. Solving the second part would really give us the same thing if you want to work through that. And then we have x equals 1. So let's take a look at the graph. This is a parabola. It's opening left because of the negative, and then it's moved right 2 because of that plus 2 out there. So plus 2, put a few points in there to get what this graph looks like. And then we also have this x equals 1, so that's this vertical line. And we are revolving this section around the y-axis. Well, when we did around the x-axis, we would do the higher function minus the lower function. In this case, we can think of the outer function minus the inner function when we work through this. We do need to know where these intersection points are, and if you know your parabolas well, you would know it's 1 and -1 for your y values, but just like before, we can plug in x into either this function here, or that's not a function, this equation here, or you could plug it into these individual functions, and you get plus or minus 1. So this is 1, and this is -1. And to find the volume of that solid, it's going to be the integral from -1 to 1, things we just mentioned, because this is in terms of y, we're going around the y-axis, pi times the radius squared. Well, the radius, we have 2 radii, so we're going to do the outer minus the inner. The outer one is our parabola, and that is this equation here, so -y squared plus 2. That's squared, so the outer radius squared minus the inner radius squared, which this was x equals 1, so we just take -1 squared. And then this is all in terms of y, so dy. So there's the integral we'll use. Let's go ahead and find that. Again, we could multiply this out and do this on pencil and paper, or with pencil and paper, but we'll go ahead and put it in the calculator here. So we're going to bring that constant of pi out. We're going to take the integral from -1 to 1. We're going within the integral here, we're going to do parentheses so we can do negative, and then to get a y, you can hit alpha and then find y in your calculator. It just brings a keyboard up for me here. So y squared plus 2, close parentheses, square that, and then we want to subtract 1 squared, which is just 1, so we don't need to put that. And then this is in terms of y, so again, you can hit alpha and find y on your calculator, but here it is for mine. You hit enter, and you get the volume of 11.729 units cubed. And there's the volume of that.